Hey, y'all. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Get Stiff.
Get Stiff is a podcast where we have conversations around grief, loss, and everything in between over cocktails. Each episode coincides with a themed cocktail, and we share the recipe with our listeners.
We're going to get right into part 2 of our conversation with Anita Sheers.
Let me see.
I said
what have we not touched on?
On this camera, I said I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I know, God.
God damn you, Anita.
Take a sip.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. But I did. I cried a lot that day. I did. I definitely took hella breaks.
You did. You know what? But let me tell you too what you did that was so dope. Remember, even for a little while, the candles were lit in the rain because it was raining.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. Everything was so magical though.
I forgot about the candles.
Also, do you remember?
I forgot about the sandbed with the candles.
Oh. Yes, I was like, damn, everything was so perfect, you know. And this is the last point. Do you remember after we had finished, like, you know, with what we had started, because you know it takes hours to cremate a body, so of course we weren't going to stay there for the whole time. But when we came out, remember, it was one mourning dove. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
And they're usually, I remember we talked about it because they're usually, they mate for life, and there's usually two of them, and there was only one.
Mm-hmm.
Only one, Alexis.
That's crazy.
And then after that, never, ever, ever did we see mourning doves. There was a couple of mourning doves that came and hung out a couple of weeks at the house.
Yeah.
I was like, but then it was only one. Mm-hmm. It wasn't two. I was like, all right, Colin. And that was like, it was like little things like that. It was the beginning of looking for his essence where he is.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't mean that it's not hard, but you know, death is, I feel like our culture could do better at honoring the process of death, because that is the one thing that's for sure, if nothing else is. That's change.
Yeah, I think so often people get caught up in saying what they think they're supposed to say. And then I think also specifically in Black culture, it's if you talk about it, you invite it in. And they don't want to discuss it. But then when these things happen, it breaks my heart to see. It's like, all right, well, now I see people on the side of the freeway asking for donations, or I'm seeing these GoFundMes, or I'm seeing, you know, we selling plates or whatever. And it's just like, a lot of that stems from the discomfort of being able to talk about it. And that leads to us being unprepared for it. And it's just, we got to do better. If we prepare, we learn more, we talk about it. It's not as scary. And then we know how to support each other.
Why do you think that is, though? Especially in Black culture, we see it a lot where it's just not normal to talk about death.
I agree with Shannon. It's like, you feel like a lot of times in our, that's so layered, but let me just say this. What I feel that I get from that question is the difference between thriving and surviving. Because you could make a choice to thrive and do something that only costs you $11 a month to make sure that nobody has to do a fish dinner for you. You know? And I think that when you come from a culture, it's really like, there's a study of there's a branch of study in psychology called epigenetics, where they look at your environment and your genes and how that impacts, or what is getting carried down and shared. That isn't necessarily biological, it's more environmental, but now it's becoming that. You know? And people are afraid of what they don't know. And that's unfortunate because it's so much that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And we're supposed to not know because the whole point in the process is the journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a destination. Like, that's funny because, okay, this goes, excuse me, with the second question of like what has grief been? And I wrote these little side notes that said honor the process, live an experience that is authentic, and just be, but you honor the process.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know
love
what I
that.
mean? Like, you allow yourself to go through,
Yeah.
because that looks like whatever. See, it's all about giving yourself the ability to choose in the moment what is authentic and what is right and what is aligned for you.
Right. And it changes sometimes, right? From moment to moment, it can be
Yes,
completely
all the
different.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, yes. That's why I would say journaling and checking in with myself every day. And you definitely have you know what? And I also did something a little unconventional too. I had to pause my old village and I had to go build a new village because I knew that where I was and the experience that I was choosing to have, I can't place that on someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so I have to lean into the direction in the connections with people that are mutual for where I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't be the strongest person in the room. And I had to do the hard work of holding space for myself,
Mhm.
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so like in the beginning, because in the beginning I was very active on like my social media platforms because I wanted everybody to know, because whether people know it or not, a lot of people are asking similar questions, or the vibration or the energy or the heart is similar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was very active online at a certain time because I could answer something to like forever now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like always there. So boom, it's done. But as I continued on the journey and as I continued to move through the waves and the layers, they become different things that require different things for different seasons. And I had to honor the fact that I need a space that takes me from where I am now instead of where I was, because that's not helping me right now.
Right.
I remember those lives.
That's not something that
I remember the lives. Anita would go live and she's like, all right, about 30 of y'all done messaged me asking me this. So here it is. Don't ask me again.
Oh
And
my
she would just
goodness.
do
You
it.
would go live
She would just,
on Instagram?
she would just do it. She's like, y'all,
Dang.
too many of y'all are asking me. I'm not about to answer every single person. Here you go. And I like what you said about having to pause your village to find people who could see you where you were, because it doesn't mean that the people in your current village didn't love you. It didn't mean that they didn't mean well. But all of those things, they can want the best for you. They can love you. They can want to support you. All of those things can be true and then be the wrong people in this time, in this season. Because
Mm-hmm.
I remember having friends that gave me well, he's in a better place now. Girl, how you know you been? Like, like,
Yeah.
so it's just things like that. Or even what would drive me crazy would be the people that now I was very open after I kind of got my bearings. I was open about what happened and all of that. But a lot of people were
Mm-hmm.
messaging me like, well, what happened? It's just like, all right, look, if I haven't seen you in the last 5 years, why do you think you're close enough to ask me this question? And not only that, who do you think you
girl
are
bye.
to I
That's
don't
what
know.
it's like, girl bye.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one person in particular, which she handled it with grace, and like shout out to her, because she had messaged me, if I may ask what happened. And I said, well, if I may ask, is asking me to revisit the most traumatic event of my life worth satisfying your curiosity in this moment? Ask yourself that. And she's like, you know what? You're right. And she handled it very gracefully. And I mean, I could have been nicer about it, but I wasn't. And I'm not sorry. But I remember reaching out to people specifically who had lost their husbands, who had lost their partners, and being like, I remember my aunt lost my uncle. He passed suddenly when I was, I think, 13 or 14. And I remember asking her, like, how did you did this with 3 children? Like, it's just me. Like, how did you do this? How did you do this and still take care of these kids and help them become like functioning adults? But I remember having to, and not that I didn't accept the love, and like I have an army of wonderful people, and like shout out to them. Alexis, who basically moved in for like that whole month and watched Moana a
we lived
million
off
times.
of just fast food and Disney movies, whatever.
I made that girl watch Moana so many, and I don't know why Moana was my comfort movie. I think it was like the last movie I had watched with Matt, and so it was like we watched Moana at least 60 times.
Over and over and over.
It was the only way.
And that's just what it was.
Yeah, it was the only way I could sleep. But I remember being grateful for my village, but also seeking out people who had been where I was, and it's like, help me. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go from here. And I think that there's a lot of power in that, and I think we can work to change that conversation so that way we can better support each other by having these conversations and by getting people to be more open about and transparent about their experiences and working through that discomfort so that we can progress and we can be ready and we can be more prepared when the inevitable happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen to other people when they're like, Matt was 30. Khalif was what, 40? 41? Like 40. 41. Matt was 30 years old. Like, so
that's
yeah.
So I want to have more conversations like this, and I thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for sharing your story and being so open, honest, and tipsy with us. We got more questions, Alexis?
It was good.
I think we may have
we do. We have a big one. We have number. Wait. We got number 7's a big one.
The spirituality one. Yeah, I was gonna say we need to touch on you kind of touched on it a little bit, but we can divulge into it further.
No, yes. Okay, boom. Here we go. Okay, I'm dropping it real hard for the people. Let's go.
Wait, ask the question. You gotta ask the question for the recording purposes.
Okay.
But look at the nerd in me. This is how Meryl and I are cousins. We be already ready. Shout out to Marissa.
Oh, we're gonna try to. I'm gonna try to pull her out of her shell and see if she'll join us.
Please.
If you can pull me out of my shell, I think you can pull anybody out of their shell.
I agree.
So, how has your personal spirituality helped play a role in your own grief journey?
My spirituality is my North Star. And it's very simple. 7 steps. The first one is that everything that you're experiencing, the way you perceive it, is all in your mind. The second thing, correspondence. Any level of a thing is a thing. The third thing is vibration. Everything is vibrating, it's moving, it's circling. The fourth one is polarity. Everything has an opposite, duality. The fifth thing is rhythm. Everything has a cycle, a season, and a phase. Our bodies cycle season phases, the seasons that we live in. There's a rhythm to everything. And number 6 is cause and effect. And what's really interesting with cause and effect is that cause and effect doesn't have anything exactly to do with a relationship. It has to do with the intention that you put into seeing what's true for you with this idea or this relationship that you are seeing. And then the seventh one is gender, the law of gender. There's masculine and feminine in everything. So I say all that to say I'm conscious and aware that my spirit and my body is not having a new experience. But what is my mindset,
Mm-hmm.
the way that I think about it, how I'm perceiving it, how I'm reframing it. This is heavily predicated on my mind. And really, what I want to do is leverage this opportunity that I'm feeling so deeply now to bring myself online for the first time, probably in a long time, in a very sensual way. And when I say sensual, I mean the way we take our taste, our sight, our touch, how we hear, smell, proprioception, introception, how we can see ourselves inside and outside, our sensibility of where we are in space. Dr. Whitney actually gave me a heads up on that and proprioception, and my friend Jolene gave me one on introception. And remembering those things and then knowing that like my principle or my rule book to how I'm navigating my experience, i.e., getting on my surfboard and just riding the waves, right? Because I don't have this information to control the journey. It's just things to help me support myself so that if I don't get to choose how it unfolds, I at least get to choose the way that I want to feel as I'm moving through how it's all unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, for example, like let's say I really love like really cute short shorts, right? Like little cute. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
little French out, like little cute short shorts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I like little crop tops, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like that's my jam, right? And it's like at least 2 seasons where if I wear it exactly like that, a nigga's gonna be real cold. I'm gonna be real cold. Because in the fall and in the winter, although it's so cute, I'm not about to be comfortable.
Right.
And so, really, this is about me just familiarizing myself with the weather so I can layer accordingly. Okay, fine. You want to wear your little shorts and your crop top because you love it so much, it's not a problem, but you will enjoy it better if maybe you got a little turtleneck and you got some stockings
Mm-hmm.
or you got some boots that you can pull up.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, wear it if you want, but it's becoming more online through your awareness of what would actually feel good
Right.
if this was right.
Mm-hmm.
What would that feel like? And then start leaning in. So spirituality and like my personal, like my mindset development, it has been and is everything because that's the thing that I'm coming in alignment with or coming online to or healing is really like bringing my mindset into a space where it's like my spirit and my body it already knows.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like helping it's like helping these aspects of us begin the process of moving into the heart as a resting space instead of in life making decisions because there's aspects of ourselves that just go to these extremes of life and death, but very rarely are things ever that life or death. It's not. So it's like give those aspects other healthy forms of expressions, like let's say spirit animals, right? Or when you hear people say animal medicine, it's because sometimes maybe you're getting these like impulses or these ideas or these feelings in a particular type of way. And it'd be nice to have like let's say animals or insects that you resonate with that you can get an idea of like, okay, what is that energy type?
Mm-hmm.
And then like healthily move it through that way.
Right.
You know, it's really what you're doing is in that like law of gender aspect, you're coming into your own self as divine mother, father, and giving your inner child its healthy expressions in the ways that weren't made available to you. Because it's kind of one of those things where no one can do you like you.
Mm.
And so you're that person now where you can deliver that to yourself now.
Mm-hmm.
And then that puts you in a place where you're not needing a thing from the environment, but you're participating or you're engaged.
Yep. I love that.
Yes.
Whew. Well,
Look, it's
damn.
the last sip.
Here's
It's the
to
last
you.
sip.
Cheers.
Mm.
Cheers.
I think that's so beautiful what you said. I think that's incredibly beautiful about staying in alignment and doing what feels good for you. One thing that,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's not on our list, but it's just one thing that I was thinking about specifically in terms of staying in alignment with yourself and kind of recognizing and respecting your journey and kind of following that path. It's so interesting when you lose a partner. It's like you lose this part of yourself, which we're gonna do a whole. There's a whole episode. I'm gonna try to get a sexologist on the show so we can talk about grief fucking, because that,
Yes.
if you want to talk about getting down to the nitty gritty, like you have a partner that you are with for years. You're used to not only in the aspect of like Leafy was a chef, so not even the little things of like
Yes.
having someone cook for you, going to the grocery store, like even those things that you have to taking on, having someone to help parent and help,
Yes.
pick up the kids or do whatever. Like you had two people to do that. And now you're kind of having to recalibrate. But one very real part that nobody talks about is like, if I've been with this person for a number of years doing what adults do, like now this person is
Mm-hmm.
suddenly gone, and then it's like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, if I pop up with somebody too new, people are gonna have feelings about it. If I do something on the slide, like
Mm-hmm.
navigating that is wild. And so we're gonna be bringing. I know you and I had a
That's
conversation
when
offline about that. We had a
that's when
conversation
it's
offline
like
about that.
that's when it's like you need videos and vibrators. Hopefully you have videos and vibrators. I'm not saying that it's everything, but it gets you through the little rough seasons.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
But that
Yeah.
also is part of grief. It is. It's part of it, and it's that part that
Yes.
I wasn't prepared for. And I think it's something that a lot of people are shamed into not talking about because they think it means that you're not sad, which is not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking to bring a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sexologist onto the show to talk about exactly that.
Well, let me
That'll
know.
be
Please let me
interesting.
know. I would like, yes.
But
That'll be
thank
fun.
you so much for sharing your story and talking to us and coming on and, like I said, getting a little tipsy with us and talking about some real shit.
Yeah.
I know.
But
Yes.
so, where can the
Yes.
people find? Do you want the people to find you? I don't know. Do you want to give your IG? It's okay if you don't.
Yeah, actually, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, it's Anita Sheers on IG. You can just follow me there for now,
And it's Anita
and then I'll
Shears,
keep the thing posted. You know what?
SheeRS.
RS, and actually, I'm on Twitter too, Anita Sheers.
She be twittering y'all.
Yes,
She be
and I'm on
Twittering.
Clubhouse, Anita Sheers.
All right, girl, you still on Clubhouse?
I actually, every now and again, yes, I am. Not that much, though. Not that much, but sometimes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, y'all. This has been Get Stiff. You can follow my journey on Instagram at I Do Death, Twitter at I Do Death, IDoDeath.com, or I'm actually on TikTok now because Auntie's trying to be cool. And that's I.do.death with periods in the middle because someone was hating and took I Do Death. Lex, where can the people find you?
You can find me also Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok because somebody forced me. at Death with Lex. For all three, Death with Lex.
And if you want to see what the show's been up to, you can follow us on Instagram at Get Stiff Podcast. Thank y'all, and we'll see you again for some stiff talk,
stiff drinks,
and we out.
Yay!
Good night, ladies.
And we are done. That is a wrap. Get Stiff is produced by Milan Reed. Do you have a topic you want to hear us get into? A drink recipe you'd like to recommend? Do you have a story to share? We want to hear from you. Get in touch at getstiffpodcast@gmail.com or reach out to us on Instagram at getstiffpodcast.